All right. So before we understand Tableau further, I think we should understand what exactly is data modeling, right? This term data modeling is quite important for us to understand. All right. So as of now, for the convenience sake, I think let's assume that data modeling is nothing but joining tables. For example, let's say there are two tables. And let's say there are two tables over here. And this is, let's say, my customers table. Let's take the example of the same data set that we've seen in the last video. And this is my sales data set. Now, as we've seen in the last video, I think the customer table had a lot of columns over here. A lot of columns were there for customer. And all the columns consisted of customer info. For example, the date of birth, number of children, number of cars owned, whether they owned a house or not, what is the commute distance, and so on like this. Now, here there is a customer ID. Of course, in the sales table as well, apart from, various other variables like product ID, order number, there's another variable called as customer ID, which is making this variable, or I should not say variable, I should say, let's say this particular parameter, common between the two tables over here. Right? These two are common between the two tables, isn't it? Now, if I momentarily, if I take you guys to that sheet, if I take you guys back to the sheet over here, I think the sheet is somewhere over here in the data sets folder. Right. So this is the sheet we are talking about. Now, as you can see, that there's a lot of information about the customer. Let's say I want to do analysis of yearly income with sales. How does sales amount change with the yearly income? Now, presumably, people with higher income level might be going for higher average sales amount, isn't it? So the point is that in order to establish that thought process, what I need to do is I need to do some analysis between these two variables over here, which is the yearly income of the customer and the sales amount over here. Now, the problem with Excel over here is that these two tables are not connected to each other. They are separate tables right now. And right now, I cannot do any kind of analysis between the tables. Right. That is, I can do graph analysis and pivoting of, the table, the variables which are present in a single table, but I cannot have the two tables talk to each other. And the same applies to all the rest of the tables like calendar, customer, product, and then territory. For example, if I want to understand how's Canada doing as compared to Germany, if I want to understand that from a sales order quantity point of view, I cannot do it because the two tables are separate right now. They're not connected with each other. And this is where data modeling comes into picture. Excel can't do it for us. What we can do is we can go to Tableau and similar BI tools, and we can connect these tables over here. That is, once we look into this, I think these two are the common columns over here, the customer ID. The two customer IDs are common. Using this, I actually create a connection between the two tables. Please make a note that I'm not creating another data, which is a huge data containing all the information about the sales. I'm not creating a data which is sales plus customer. I'm not creating a new table. I'm not creating a two table. I'm just joining the two table. I'm definitely not merging the two table because this is not a good option. Although all those who are frequent users of Excel will understand that there is a function called as VLOOKUP, which can help us to take the entire data of customer into the sales table. But for example, if I do, let's say, do analysis between a variable present in the product table and then something which is presented the sales table, then in that case, similarly, I have to take the entire all the entire data of product table over here into the same table using that particular formula. So the data can be transferred, but that's what I'm actually trying to avoid. I don't want to create a huge data set containing all the columns, all the variables, all the parameters at one place. Companies try to do that. Companies try and avoid that particular part. And how do we, what is the disadvantage of this thing? First is cost. Second one is time. Of course, the effort taken is higher, the time taken is higher, and the cost of storage of data is higher. Because assuming right now this is just a small data of, if I'm not wrong, close to 58,000. Yeah, close to 58,000 rows over here. But imagine a data which is in millions and have around 250 columns over here. Such huge data. There are 5 products like this. And if I had to join it, imagine the kind of space it's going to create, because you anyway are not going to use the entire information at once. You might require some selected parameters to look into for analysis at a time, isn't it? So this is where data modeling comes into picture. It basically connects the two tables. And with the connection, the advantage is now the uncommon columns can talk to each other. That is, now I can look at income level of my customers, and I can look at the sales made by them, right? And or I should say, we can create bins, or we can create brackets of income level. In that bracket of income level, we can look at which bracket is doing how much when it comes to sales or quantity sold or unit price. It can be anything, right? So the point is, or discount offered, right? So the point is, now the uncommon columns over here can talk to each other. Now, please understand this, absorb what we have just done. If you have connected these two tables, there are around 10 columns over here, there are around 12 columns over here, and these two tables, that is all the 22 columns, in fact, 21 column, because one column is common between the two. All the 21 columns are at one place, and I can take any two columns, any two variables, any two parameters, and do analysis over there. Isn't it? That's the advantage of data modeling. And now imagine this in 5 tables. This is what we're going to do. Imagine this in 5 tables. And in those 5 tables, all the 65 parameters, columns, variables, whatever we want to call it, are at one place. And now I can pick up any two and see their relationship. Now, this is going to open gates for a lot of insights from data. For example, I can see color-wise sales. I can see color-wise order quantity. I can see income level wise sales. I can see income level wise quantity. I can see commute distance wise sales. I can see commute distance wise unit price. When we start matching, it becomes the scope of analysis has just broadened many folds over here. And that's the advantage of data modeling. Let's see that how data modeling happens in Tableau. Now, this is my Tableau part, and these are the 5 tables that we have imported from the last video, right? And I think from the last video, we are very clear that sales is that particular parent table. Can I say this? Because everything is happening around sales, because sales as a table consists of customer information, consists of product information, consists of when was the sale happened, the date level information, and the geography level information, isn't it? The entire information is present in sales. So can I say it makes sense that I join calendar using date, I can join customer table using customer ID, I can join product table using product ID, and I can join territory table with sales using territory ID, right? That makes sense to me, doesn't it? So I'll take the sales over here and put it up. Now, right now, there's nothing over here in this particular area of Tableau. The moment I put a table, it's going to give me the summary of that table. I haven't started the modeling yet. I'll just put a table, right? The moment I put a table over here, it gives me the details of the table. That is the product key. What are the columns over here? It can just tell me what are the columns over here. These are the columns that I've seen, isn't it? Product key, order date, ship date, customer key, promotion key, sales territory key, sales order number, and so on like this. Unit price, total product cost, sales amount, transaction amount, and so on like that. All this thing is given over here. And this is right now showing you only top 100 rows. It doesn't mean that the rest of the data is eliminated, rest of the data is not considered. It's just displaying top 100 so that you can have a look at the data and can confirm that this is what you want. Right? If we stay in this particular part, we can actually do certain things as well. For example, we can change the data type. Now, if you're aware of the data type, there are 6 to 7 data types over here. Data type would actually mean that what kind of data is there in the column. If you talk about a column, for example, product key, all of them seems to be number. So that is why Tableau is very intelligently identified that all the entire entries of this column are numbers. And hence, what we need to do is to assign this particular column as numeric variable. Plus, in the numeric variable, we can see there is no decimal number over here. All of them are integral. So we can say, okay, we're talking about number, which are whole numbers over here. Okay, not decimal. But if you go for something like, let's say, unit price or any other variable which has a decimal in it, for example, unit price again, we can see if we click on this over here, the number is selected, but it's a decimal number. So Tableau, the moment you put in a table over here, Tableau in a few, microseconds of time have gone through the table, have understood the table, and can now relate to the table and say that, okay, this is a numeric data field. Similarly, this is a date data field. These are the 6 types: number decimal, number whole, date and time. Date and time consists of date and time both. You might see this kind of entries in your sales invoices, basically the bills that you get, isn't it? So in those bills, you can see that there is an order date followed by a time of purchase, because probably the retail outlet wants to know when did the customer buy, what the most number of items over here. Then there's date, there's string. String is textual data, right? And Boolean. Boolean is true, false, yes, no kind of a data, just binary data over here, right? Now there is a symbol related to every field. You can see this is a number. There's a numeric field, the hashtag one. This is a date field over here. If I go for this is a text field, sales order number, right? All the sales order number seems to be numeric, mostly numeric, but it is a combination of alphabets and numeric. If that happens, most of the BI tools will still take it as string. They'll not take it as numbers, even if the majority portion of every cell element over here are numbers. That won't happen. So that's the point over here, right? So even if there is one alphabet somewhere in the entire column, it's going to take it as a textual database or a string database represented by something like ABC and so on like this, right? Now, this is how you can look at the table. This is the summary of the table, which says that, okay, this is the product key and these are the order dates. You can probably, don't need to look into it much, but if you want to look into it, you can just extend this portion, have a look into it, and you can just go for this thing. It gives you the name of the table and the name of the field over here. Okay. Now, coming back to the original size, right? Now, let me take the next table. Let's take customer. And the moment I take customer, taking means just, clicking on that and dragging it over here. Just drag it over here. Now, as you can see, I'm moving this particular table or, dragging this table. There's a line which is continuously connecting it with the sales team. Now, the moment I leave it, the line gets created and now it is showing me customer table over here. And it is also towards the left-hand pane, showing me the relation between these two tables. Now here, the line over here is the summary of the line, is the summary of the connection, the join between the two tables over here. It says, I found customer key and customer key over here common. Although nomenclature was slightly different. Here it was customer V, parenthesis customer. Here it was customer key, just customer key. Yet Tableau, again, being a business intelligence tool, has identified that these two might be same column because first of all, there is a big match in the name. Second off, there is a big match in the data type as well. So it says that, okay, this is equal to this. Based on this parameter, I've joined these two tables. And I've given the assurance that, okay, this is logically consistent. Cool. So this is giving me the relation between sales and customer. And again, this is my customer table. And this is the entire glimpse of the table over here. Now I take the next table and again drag it up over here. Now I can actually put it anywhere. I can connect it with sales table or I can connect it with customer table. Let me connect it with sales table over here. If I connect it with sales table, again, the relationship is going to be seen over here. This is right now showing you the product table. Okay. And this is giving you the summary of how sales and product tables have been joined. For example, sales, there was a product key column, and in the product, there was a product key parenthesis product column, isn't it? Again, Tableau realized that these two might be equal. The data, the data type also match. Hence, Tableau indicates that I've joined these two tables using this particular common parameter. All right. Now I can take this and join anywhere. I can just put it over here, and I need not to join it with sales table. It's just because we know logically it should connect with sales table, but you can just put it over here. Right. If you try and put it over here, it's not going to display the product table over here. And it's going to display something like this, which is an element of confusion, which says that I cannot find a common field over here. It says there's no common field. That's what it's saying, right? This relationship has no matching fields. Edit the relationship to select matching fields. We need to manually do it. Now, I just saw and there was nothing which is matching over here. So I probably would like to match, let's say, birth date with, let's say, another date over, start date over here. Although both of them are dates, and as you have given very specific manual instructions to Tableau that join these two tables using these two variables as equal. Now, birth date of customer and start date of manufacturing of the product. Does it make any sense to join these two? What kind of joining is this? Because how would my customer be related? I don't think there'll be any matching over here, right? Is it like the customer started buying the items just after a few years of being born or few months of being born? So this is logically inconsistent. Yet, if you manually execute, Tableau is going to execute that. But to maintain the logical consistency, we'll take it up and put it over here. And we'll join the product table with sales table, which is far more appropriate action to do when it comes to modeling. This is called as modeling. We're just connecting the two tables. And in Tableau, it's so easy. It's just drag and drop. Just need to understand how modeling can be done. And you need to have an understanding of what table to join with what table. All right. Now, here we can see that the product key and product keys are matching. The tables are joined. I'll take the territory key and put it over here. The same thing goes over here as well. Again, territory can be joined with product or can be joined with customer. It's up to you. But I think it's very logical that territory goes along with sales over here. And if I just click on this line, it's going to give me the relationship through which they have, join these two tables over here, sales and territory key. So sales territory key and sales territory key over here are the two common fields based on which Tableau has joined these two tables, sales and territory, right? And territory being a small table, we don't need to worry about, what exactly does it contain, because it anyways are 4 variables only and there are 11 rows, right? So it's fairly simple and a very small data set over here. But sales territory key can be seen over here as well. And hence these two tables are joined. Now let's take calendar. Now, if I take calendar and try and put it over here, it gives me a problem. It says, this relationship has no matching field. Edit the relationship to select the matching fields. Now it says that I cannot find a matching field over here. Please suggest me the matching field so that I can join these two. Now it doesn't make sense to me because calendar has dates. Sales also has dates. They should have found each other, the date one, the date column. For example, order date should have matched with, the date over here. Why is it not matching? Let's see. Let's select the field over here. For calendar, I think it's fine. We'll just take it as date. And if I select the sales table, we get the answer of the previous question I just asked. There are 2 dates, order date and ship date. Now, Tableau doesn't know as a user what are the 2 dates that you want to join. For example, if I join ship date along with date, then this date in the calendar will match the ship date. The entire data of the date will come to ship date, and then we do my analysis as per the ship date. But ship date is not the proper date to join. Order date is the proper date, isn't it? Because after all, this is where the sales have happened. This is the right date to join, isn't it? So I'll do that. I'll click on this, and now once I instruct Tableau that okay, order date is there, date is there. Now the modeling is complete. This is one aspect. Of course, you can have new union over here. New union will actually join the tables. Here, we have just connected the 2 tables. We have not created a consolidated database. It's just that these 5 different databases are connected with each other, right? Now, once the data modeling portion is done, once we are done with this thing, we can go to the first portion, which is sheet. Tableau will guide you. There was an icon coming over here, which is go to the first worksheet. You can now go to the first worksheet. Just click on that. And this is where the sheet is. Now you can see all the 5 tables are here. Calendar, customer, product, sales, and territory. And if I click on this drop down, all the columns will appear over here. Now you can take any column and do whatever kind of analysis you want to do. For example, calendar. Let's say I want to go for, sales. I go for sales amount. I can understand how the sales amount work. Right. This is what we can do. Right. Now, we'll move on to this in the next video. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But we can see there all the tables over here and all the columns of all the tables are present. Right. Now, once we've done data modeling and actually move on to the sheet, and now all these 4 tables are connected to the sales table. Right. We can have any number of connections over here. For example, if I take you guys back to the data source, you could have connected territory with customers. You could have connected product with, let's say, calendar, or probably customer with territory, or it can be anything, right? Any way you could have joined tables over here. But the point is, all those joinings would have been logically inconsistent. And that is why what we have done is we'll get back to our original data modeling portion. It makes sense that all these four tables are joined to sales, right? Now, once we do data modeling, we are all set now to go for visualization of the data. And then once we visualize, once we create the dashboard, once we create the storyboard in Tableau, then we can think about, sharing the work with other people as well inside the organization or outside the organization, right? So let's move on to understanding the Tableau pane in the next video. Let's understand what this pane is, and which part of this is my playground, which part is the supporting part, all that kind of stuff will be seen in the next video.